November 24th, 1971. A cold, rain-soaked afternoon in Portland, Oregon. A man carrying a black briefcase walks toward the Northwest Orient Airlines counter. He identifies himself as Dan Cooper. He buys a one-way ticket to Seattle. He looks like any other businessman. But history will remember him as D B Cooper. The aircraft is a Boeing 707. As the engines roar to life, Cooper takes his seat in 18C. He is calm, composed, and utterly invisible to the passengers around him once airborne. He orders a bourbon and soda. He lights a cigarette. The smoke curling around his dark glasses, then he reaches into his pocket for a handwritten note. He signals the flight attendant, Florence Schaffner. He hands her the note. At first, she thinks it's just a lonely traveler's phone number and drops it in her purse. Cooper leans in. His voice a low, chilling whisper, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." The air in the cabin suddenly feels heavy. Florence opens the note, neatly printed in all caps. It demands $200,000 in negotiable American currency and for parachutes, no games, to prove his threat is real. He opens the briefcase inside. Florence sees a glimpse of red cylinders and a tangled web of wires. The nightmare has begun. The pilot is informed. In the cockpit, the atmosphere is electric with tension. They are ordered to keep the passengers calm while the FBI scrambles on the ground for 2 hours. The plane circles Seattle. Cooper sits perfectly still, staring out into the dark clouds, occasionally checking his watch with mechanical precision. On the ground at CTAC Airport, the FBI is moving. Agents in trench coats rush through the rain, coordinating the delivery of the ransom money and the chutes. The plane finally lands. It stays far from the terminal, in the dark. The exchange is made. $200,000 in cash is brought aboard. Cooper releases the passengers and most of the crew. He keeps the pilot and a few others. His demands are specific: fly south toward Mexico City, low and slow. The 727 takes off once more into a ferocious storm. The cabin pressure drops. In the back of the plane, Cooper is alone. He ties the money to his waist. He lowers the aft stairs. The wind howls into the cabin like a dying animal. The pilot sees a warning light flash on the dashboard. Cooper is at the edge. Without a second thought, he leaps. One moment he is there, a man in a suit against the storm. The next, he is gone. Swallowed by the freezing darkness, the FBI launched one of the most extensive manhunts in history. They searched the rugged terrain of the Pacific Northwest, but found nothing but trees and shadows years later. A few bundles of rotted cash were found by a river, but the man himself was never seen again. No body, no parachute, no trace. Did he survive the jump into the freezing wilderness, or did he perish in the woods? The mystery of D B Cooper remains the only unsolved skyjacking in history. He stepped out of a plane and into legend, a ghost in a suit. A shadow in the rain, the man who disappeared into history.